Hello, welcome back. So, in the last episode, we were working on improving the quarry, trying to keep it running more often than not. If you can see in the distance, the armature of the quarry is not moving right now. Unfortunately, there's no power in the quarry. Now, we built the quarry so that we could get copper to do more industrial craft stuff. And I wanted to build a medium voltage solar array. So our low voltage solar arrays generate 8 EUs per tick, and the medium voltage solar array should generate 64 EUs per tick. Although for some reason I think they do 128, but we'll have to check that out. But I started gathering the ingredients and I put it all in this project chest, and you can see it's a huge project. And this is just for 6 more low voltage solar arrays because we already have 2. So, and I haven't even gotten the material for the LV transformers we need, so this isn't even everything we need. So this is going to be quite a project. So I decided that we're going to go a different direction. I think it's time to get into some more applied energistics. Applied energistics is my absolute favorite mod. On the one hand, it is the best storage system I have ever seen. They call it the matter energy system, and basically it allows you to store tons of items in very small spaces. In fact, we're going to have one block to store all the items we will ever have in the game. I think there's a lot of chests here, and we've got a lot of things we can store right now, but trust me, the ME system is going to store 1,000 times as much stuff as we have all in one block. And if it sounds like cheating right now, trust me, it's not. The investment you have to make to get this working is really high, and the power requirements are astronomical, which is why we need the solar arrays. We're going to use the solar arrays to power this thing because even idle, this giant system just sucks energy all the time. It is the most power-hungry thing ever. It's more power-hungry than the quarry, I think. The other part of applied energistics we won't be doing today, I don't think. I'll see, but I don't think we'll have enough time. It can do auto crafting. It can take all the items in there and it can build other items, and it can interact with other devices to build things, so that if you need to cook something in a furnace, it can work with a furnace from another mod. It can work with all kinds of things, and we'll get into that as soon as we can. And that's what I hope we're going to be able to use to do most of the work in making the medium voltage solar array, and definitely the high voltage solar array, because there's absolutely no way. I don't even want to do the medium voltage solar array by hand because it's going to be so much work. So we're going to invest a little bit of work up front to get us an ME system from Applied Energistics, and hopefully we can alleviate some of that work for us. So the first part of the AE system is just the basic system, and for the basic system we're going to need an ME controller, an ME access terminal, an ME drive, and a 4K storage disk. So they basically store items as data, and that's where the matter energy part comes in. It's kind of like, I don't know, Star Trek or something, whatever. You take the matter and you convert it to energy, and you store it that way, and you just store it as data on a disk. And that's why you can compress it into one block. And they have levels of storage, how much data you can store on a data device. They have different levels of storage. Now each storage, you know what, let's start crafting stuff and then I will talk about the storage. So every ME system needs an ME controller, and it can only have one. If you have more than one, it just gets confused. Now, an ME controller requires Fluix crystals, an ME advanced processor, and 4 iron. And to build processors, we're actually going to have to build processor assemblies, which you then fire up in a furnace. So, to get processors, we get these processor assemblies, and we need a quartz cutting knife. So a quartz cutting knife is 2 sticks, and you can use either kind of quartz, but I use nether quartz wherever I can because I have tons of nether quartz and I don't have very much Certus quartz. Nether quartz just seems to be very easy to find in the nether. So we need 2 sticks, a piece of iron, and 2 nether quartz. And this quartz cutting knife has durability just like our tools from industrial craft. This will eventually need to be replaced, but it's got a pretty good long life, so we won't need another one right now. So, to get that advanced processor assembly, it's 2 redstone, a piece of silicon, a diamond, and using the quartz cutting knife. And it looks like it's not going to let me click that in there, but that's okay. And there we go, an advanced processor assembly. Now, to get silicon, you just cook up either nether quartz dust or Certus quartz dust in a furnace. 1-to-1 ratio. I've already made most of the material that I think we'll need for this early system, so we'll work on that. And now, we also need some basic processors for some of the other things we're going to be doing, and we have to cook them, so I'd like to go ahead and make those now. Alright, gonna have to stop shift clicking. Alright, quartz cutting knife. This is gold, redstone, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm pretty sure we need 8 of these basic processor assemblies. So let's go put those in the redstone furnace. And I'll put this in the hopper so it can cook up that too. Alright, and let's get back to the controller. The controller requires 4 iron and 4 fluix crystal. Fluix crystal are simply both kinds of quartz and redstone. And we need 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Okay, we don't have our ME Advanced Processor yet, but that's okay. The controller is the centerpiece of the network. It's where everything goes together. It's where the power comes from. And this is the only block you'll actually need to power. Everything else pretty much gets its power from the controller. They use their own power system. I forget what they call it, but you can use industrial craft power, build craft power, redstone flux power. It's a universal mod, just like Mine Factory Reloaded. Alright, so let's get an access terminal. An access terminal is how we're going to access the inventory that's tied to the controller. The ME access terminal requires iron, glass, a conversion matrix, and cable. And cable is how we're going to connect the pieces of our network. So we're going to need a lot of cable, and cable requires fluix dust. We need 3 of them to make 3 cables. So, fluix dust is just each type of dust and redstone. So let's see here. I needed 3. I think we'll make 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 12. Alright, and going back to our access terminal, our cabling. Really going to have to learn to stop shift clicking. Okay. Fluix dust, and I grabbed everything but glass, apparently. Okay, a couple stacks of glass. Okay, so there we are. There's 12 of those cables, and we won't need all the cables right now, but we will need them eventually, so I'll go ahead and craft them now. So, the access terminal requires one of the cables. It requires a conversion matrix, which is why we need one of these processors. We also need iron, more fluix dust, and a basic processor. So, that fluix dust is just each type of dust. Nether quartz dust, Certus quartz dust, and redstone. We get 2 more of those. I'm guessing my furnace is done by now. It is, so there are our processors. So, the access terminal, the conversion matrix, both kinds of quartz, fluix dust, iron, and the basic processor. I'm not going to shift click because it just doesn't seem to work very much anymore. It's a very complicated system, but trust me, it is worth it. Okay, I can shift click that. So there's an ME access terminal, and I think we can make our controller now that we have that advanced processor. Yep. Okay, so now we have a controller, the centerpiece for our network, and we have the access terminal so we can access our inventory inside. So now we need a place to store stuff. And you can store things in either an ME drive or an ME chest. An ME chest can hold one of these storage units, and the storage unit holds things on it, and you can transfer them around. But inside my base, I want to use an ME drive, which I think can hold either 8 or 10 of those storage segments. We're only going to craft one right now, but we'll make a lot more later. So I'm going to go with the drive. It's actually surprisingly not really any more expensive, or not very much more expensive than just the chest. So the drive doesn't seem to be that important to me. Maybe it's just about portability. I forgot to get wood for the chest I would need. Alright, the ME drive is a chest, 2 of the basic processors, iron and glass. So I need a chest. And there we go, an ME drive. We now have a place to store our inventory, so now we need an inventory. So ME devices store all their items on these storage cells. And there are different tiers of storage cells. There's the 1K storage, the 4K storage, 16K, and 64K. Each one of them can hold 63 different types of items. So it can hold iron, and nether quartz, and silicon, and 60 other types. But how many of the items you can hold depends on how much storage it has. And I don't really know. It's some kind of mathematical formula. You can look on the wiki if you really want to know. But 4K I found is pretty appropriate most of the time. To make the bigger storage cells requires a much more investment. So I'm just going to make a 4K storage cell for now. And we'll make others later. And you can actually take these storage segments out and replace them with bigger ones later on. So we can upgrade our storage segments from 4K to 16K if we decide that's important later on. Alright, so the 4K storage cell needs iron, redstone, glass, and a storage segment, whatever that is. Storage segment needs a basic processor, redstone, glass, and 3 storage cells. They've got tiers. The 1K is just one of these. The 4K is 3 of these to make the storage segment, and another basic processor. I don't know. Anyway, it's very tiered. And the storage cell is a processor for Certus quartz, not nether quartz. Got to be Certus quartz. I think I told you a long time ago that we would be hurting for Certus quartz at some point. We will be hurting very soon. Alright, shift click. Can I do that? I can. I needed 1, 2, 3 of these. Alright, where were we? So, the 4K storage needs a storage segment. Storage segment. And I can now make these 4K storage, the ME 4K storage. Let me check my list. Controller, terminal, drive, quartz cutting knife, and the 4K storage. Yes, we now have the basic material to be able to use this system. So I'm going to have to think about where I want to put it. I don't really have very much industrial craft power, so I only have that one solar array. I could take the other one. Alright, I'm going to figure out where I'm going to put this, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I went down into the basement. Since I've got plenty of coal right now, I'm just going to use the steam engines in the basement to power the system. But we're going to need an alternative because this, once we get the crafting set up, this is going to eat all of our power quite quickly. So our hard energy conduit, and you can see it powers up. You can connect devices next to each other without a need for cabling, so I can put the terminal there, This little animation to show you it's connecting. You right-click on the ME drive and put the storage in here, and then click on the interface. There's nothing in here, but now there's stuff in here. There's all of those things in there. Green indicates that there is enough space to put more item types and more of those items on here. Red means there's no more space on this drive, either because you filled up the number of types or because you filled up the thing entirely. Orange would be... okay, I forget the colors, but green is good, red is bad. Remember those two colors, those are important. And later on, we can drop some of this ME cable down to the basement, where we'll put our ME crafting system, I think. Pretty sure that's what we're going to do anyway. So it's another large project, and I want to show you that it is just eating energy right now, doing nothing. So it uses 10 AEs per tick. I don't know how much an AE is, but well, it's using it, so just sitting there doing nothing, it will drain these slowly. You can see there is some storage stored up, but eventually they will drain out. And the more we add to this network, the more the power drain is. Once we get the auto crafting going, it's going to eat through tons of power. But as you can see, I can take things out. Oh, I'll show you one of the best features of the ME system. Let's say I wanted, I'll get a bunch of cobblestone. And we'll go put the cobblestone in the network. I can't control shift click the whole thing in there, but can you see 833? I can take a stack out of there. I can take half a stack if I right click. I thought I could take just one out if I wanted, but looks like it's a stack or half a stack. That's okay. But you can store just more types of an item inside here, up to, the storage of the device. So there's 346 bytes used. Again, I don't remember how they calculate that. It's some complicated mathematical process, but it's got a reasonable balance, I think. So, kind of like to stack these, but I may end up putting this upstairs, especially once we get more power going for this, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, I'm going to check the time. I think that's good for this episode. I will check and see if we have enough to build the crafting system, and if we do, I might just go ahead and show you just the basics of that, because that because that is just so awesome. Alright, signing off for now. Okay, I want to finish out this video by introducing the auto crafting system from Apply Energistics. It requires a somewhat complicated multi-block structure called the molecular assembler chamber, which is made up of walls, heat vents, pattern providers, and crafting CPUs. I'm going to make a 4x4. You can actually make a smaller one, a 3x3, which does not require any CPUs and just one pattern provider. But I think this design serves pretty well, and I haven't ever needed to expand past this, so I'm going to go with this. I crafted all this off camera because it's pretty complicated to get all set up, and I ran out of material a couple times, so I had to go branch mine to get more gold and iron, but I think and I hope I'm ready now. So, containment walls are made up of gold, iron, and Certius quartz. Heat vents are iron bars, ME cables, and iron. Iron bars are just vanilla, iron on top of iron. Pattern providers, conversion matrices, advanced processors, storage cells, crafting tables, and iron ingots. And the crafting CPU is Certius quartz, advanced processors, glowstone, and iron ingots. So let's go see how to set this up in the basement, and then I will show you what we can do with it. So it's very particular about how it's set up. It's got to be in a certain pattern. So the outer areas have to be this containment wall. In the center and on the sides, oops, that's wrong, those are crafting CPUs, sorry. On the bottom, top, and the sides, we need those heat vents. And we're going to need more walls. Okay, we need more heat vents. And heat vents on the top as well. And in this middle, you put your pattern providers and your crafting CPUs. And finally, and when it changes color and looks like this, I guess change design, you know that it's all set up. So the only thing left to do now is connect it to our network, and you can see this cable's kind of in the way. I might move that just a little bit, but let me adjust this a little bit, and I'll hook up to the network, and we'll show you what we can do with it. Be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I did some different routing, and we're going to hook this up to the power. And now we can see this is powered. Actually, you can't, but there. Now you can see it's powered. So we're going to put some sticks and some coal in our ME system. And we're going to come down here. And we need a pattern encoder to create patterns, which are the blueprints for what you want the ME assembler to make. So the ME pattern encoder is iron, a crafting table, and a conversion matrix. And this does not have to be hooked up to your network. I usually keep it right by the ME assembler so I can make patterns quicker. You also need blank patterns. I made 16 to start. We'll make more later. But the recipe is glowstone, Cercius quartz, glass, and iron. So you put the blank patterns in here. You put stuff for what you want the pattern to be in here, and you hit encode. So we craft 4 torch with 1 coal and 1 stick. Now you can use NEI for some of these things, like if I did, I don't know, redstone torch. I can hit shift click, it'll say stick and redstone. But sometimes you don't want to do that. It will not use the OR dictionary. It will not use the, so sometimes sticks are not sticks. So it won't use some of these things properly. Sometimes you need to make sure you get the actual stick you want to get in there. So we can craft redstone. Oh, I'm sorry. So right click on your ME assembler to access your pattern and put your encoded pattern in here. You see we've got the torch pattern and the redstone torch pattern. Let me put some redstone in our network. And you can see it says we've got 53 coal, 52 redstone. We can craft redstone torches and craft torches. We've got some sticks. So if we were to say I wanted, let's say I wanted 16 torches. Begin. Oh look, I have 16 torches now. So how did I do that? I went to the access terminal. I looked for the item I wanted to craft. Now right now you don't see craft, but if you click on the view, you can view just what's in here, just what's craftable, or both. So if I look for just craftable, I can make a redstone torch. Let's make 1 redstone torch. It's not showing it because we're in craftable only view. But if you go to stored, it did make the redstone torch. Pretty cool. And we can do a lot more complicated things with this setup than just crafting basic stuff. We're going to use it to craft our medium voltage solar array, which is... Well, did I show you all the material we need for it? We need all of that, plus cutters and forge hammers, and it can do all of that for us. All we have to do is let it. And all it takes is energy. Tons and tons and tons of energy. So that's an intro to the crafting system. You can see we're not even doing anything, and the hard energy cell just drains and drains and drains. So I typically will turn this off, and there we go. It's done. So this is why we need the MV solar array, so we can power that greedy applied logistics machine. But it's okay, it takes a lot of power because the benefits are just overwhelming. It's absolutely my favorite, hands down, most best, happiest. I can't oversell AE because it's just the most amazing mod ever. So, alright, we're definitely over on time, so I will catch you next time, where we will probably improve this system, or maybe I'll start using it to make the MV solar array. Alright, signing off.